welcome to Knafs at Night. I'm Ben.
What's up, guys? I'm Kyle with WorkSharp.
And today we're going to talk about why WorkSharp does not deserve to be as popular as they are.
We're also going to talk about this awesome Torx Topo driver that we're collaborating on with Knafs.
And lastly, we've got a giveaway of a brand new unreleased knife, as well as a Ken Onion Mark II $300 WorkSharp sharpener. Let's go!
Let's go.
Okay, so there were literally like last week, and Kyle's like, hey, can I come down? And we were like, okay, cool. So Kyle, what do you do at WorkSharp?
I'm the community marketing specialist at WorkSharp. So basically I handle our social channels, help with the YouTube aspect of things, a lot of collaborations with other brands. I head up a lot of that. Yeah, that sort of thing.
I love it. So WorkSharp is probably the premier pocket knife sharpening company in the world. Pocket knife, yeah, no, and I don't say that lightly because I've been in this industry 13 years, and I guess part of what I don't understand is you're a sharpening brand, right? Like,
right.
But you have such good style, such good branding, and people are like, yes, I love WorkSharp. How did WorkSharp become this company that people are just stoked about? It's almost like, I don't know, you're the Browning buckmark tattoo of knives. It's like everywhere.
Sure. Yeah. Man, that's a tough one to put your finger right on, but I don't know, man. I think it starts long before I was there with some word of mouth when it comes to figuring out what sharpeners work well. The powered sharpener that we came out with, that original knife and tool sharpener, really put us on the map. It made
Okay, so let me get this straight.
Yep.
You guys were the first, like this is not the original.
Right.
But this is a Ken Onion edition of your first powered sharpener, right?
Yep.
This is what put you guys on the map.
Yeah, we're bringing belt technology, so the belts that knives are sharpened on, like at your shop or from the factory, bringing that to the masses in order to recreate that edge that they get from the factory.
That's cool. So I received one of these, I don't know, it's probably been 5 or 6 years ago now. I keep it on my bench in the garage, and it just does everything. Yeah. I abuse it. This belt, don't judge my belt.
Right? It's well used, man. That's what we want to see.
I mean, I use it for like lawnmower sharpening, chisel sharpening. The one thing I refuse to do on it is sharpen knives because I give those to Keith. More about that in a minute. But literally for probably like the last 10 years, WorkSharp has been my go-to sharpener. If I'm out in the field, I usually will take this. I've taken this to scout camp probably like 3 or 4 times.
Nice.
And I just let these 12, 13-year-old boys like go ham on it. And they're like, my knife is dull. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you were slamming it in the dirt, kid.
Yeah, like any kid would.
But it's super innovative stuff.
Yeah.
Where does that innovation come from?
I think it just comes from a stance of trying to make sharpening within reach. I think there's a big aura around sharpening where it's hard to do. You have to have a lot of a skill set. Either has to be passed down to you from like your grandfather or something like that. And it really isn't that. It's just making it accessible to a point where like it gives you the confidence that I can do this. And so that's really where the guides come in and trying to make it fast and simple so you can get in, get your knife sharp, and get back to whatever you want to do. But really making it accessible so that it's not an intimidating process, because it really is. It can be.
Yeah, I think so. You guys sell products anywhere from about $15 up to like $300, right? Like it's a pretty wide range. I'm just going to publicly endorse this thing right here. Okay. How much is this, Kyle?
That one is, off the top of my head, 35.
It's like 35 bucks. I love this thing because it's got your 20-degree guides on the side. You've got a fine and a coarse grid on it, although the coarse definitely is bad at this point.
It's seen some use.
And then you've got a ceramic rod here. You've got a serration sharpener there and a strop right there. So everything you need. Because sometimes I think people look at this stuff and they're like, okay, this is getting into like, do I want a 17-degree angle or a 20 or a 25?
Yep.
Like this to me is my favorite sharpening product because I can literally hand it to a 12-year-old and be like, okay, here's how you sharpen.
Yep.
Ready, go.
Yep.
But then from there, you guys like, it moves up and it moves up.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of ways to get to a sharp knife. So, I mean, you've got your people that are like swear by whetstones. It's the only way to sharpen a knife. My grandfather taught me how to do it that way. And if that's how you want to get to a sharp knife, I love that for that person. Yeah. But there's a lot of ways to get there. And so we've just tried to offer a variety of ways to make sharpening, accessible to anyone. From I'm got an animal down, or I'm out on a hike and I need to be able to get my knife sharp again out in the field, to I want a precise angle and I want to put a polished edge on this knife, on this Grail knife that I have. There's something for everybody in there.
I love it. It's worth addressing right now. So Kyle showed up in a Knafs shirt. I showed up also in a Knafs shirt, but he had a sweater, and I was like, well, if he's going to wear a Knafs sweater, I'm going to wear, or a Knafs shirt, I'm going to wear a Work Sharp sweater.
You're swimming in that thing, though, man.
I am, and it's crazy hot. So this is coming up.
All right.
Thank you for loaning me your sweater.
Absolutely.
Okay, here's the next thing I want to know. You guys are doing all sorts of stuff. You've done stuff. I remember when I worked at CRKT, you'd done a lot of collaborations with CRKT. You've done stuff with Benchmade, Montana Knife Company. In fact, do you mind passing me?
Yeah.
This is your Montana Knife Company
Yep.
field sharpener, basically. You've got a ceramic and then a fine. And is this for broadheads?
Yep, exactly.
Cool.
Yep.
So is that to like pull the broadheads off?
It's
like
a wrench.
A wrench.
Yep.
Cool. You're sort of the Switzerland of knives, right? Like, literally, like 2 weeks ago, we were talking about Montana Knife Company and Benchmade, like going at it in court. And I mean, literally, you have, if you don't mind, you have a Benchmade bug out.
Yep.
That is a
collaboration
Work Sharp colored.
Yep.
And then you got them on, like, you're threading a weird needle here. How do you do this, Kyle?
I think it just comes down to, I don't know, if you're a knife company and you want a quality sharpener, we're kind of the obvious choice to turn to as far as making that happen for you. And I don't know, we enhanced your knife. So it's not necessarily like we're a competition to you. We just make your knife better. So it's a natural choice, I think, for us. And we're able to, work with someone for something like this. Like Josh Smith wanted a specific sharpener, and we were able to kind of meet him where he wanted as far as his needs being checked, and then being able to make it through our facilities. So
that's cool. And then this one, you're like, hey, Benchmade, this is our color. And in fact, we were talking about the color on a call the other day.
Oh, really?
This is like your special must-be Work Sharp. Is there a Pantone for this?
There is memorized? A Pantone. I don't have it memorized.
No, you failed us.
I'm sorry. I know. There's people yelling at me from home right now going, what's the Pantone? You should know that.
But it's very specific. So you approach Benchmade and you say, hey, we want to do a bug out, or they approach you, or how does that work?
So our brand manager reached out to Benchmade about doing this collaboration, and they've got a really good relationship, Kyle Crawford. And it's something we've wanted to do for a while, and it finally came to fruition. And yeah, we got to do the special run on them. That's
cool.
I think it was the first time they did S20V and a bug out, so that was really exciting.
20CV, cool.
Yeah, 20CV, yeah.
That's way cool. I think it's, like I said, you're threading this needle of all of these different brands and companies, and somehow you walk out of it and like everyone's like, we love Work Sharp. I think it's really, really cool. I want to ask you a little bit about where are your things made? So you guys know, if you watch the show regularly, I love the inside baseball. I love to see how the sausage is made. Yep. You guys have this interesting supply chain. So where are you making these? How does it work?
So they're built in Ashland, Oregon. So we've got our assembly team that assembles the sharpeners in Ashland. We do some assembly overseas too, but we also work with China and Vietnam. We've got suppliers there, but we also have employees over there. So it's not just like we're working with a supplier. We actually have our own employees.
So like somebody on the Work Sharp payroll is on the ground.
On the ground over there,
cool.
Making sure that everything's meeting our quality, and that the supplies are coming in smoothly. And it's been great. They come out. They actually come stateside, and they've visited a few times, and they're just a part of our team, which is really fun to just have that diversity amongst our business. And so we get some parts from China, some parts from Taiwan. They get shipped to us, and then we assemble in Ashland, Oregon, the majority of what we do. So
I was noticing on the side of one of your boxes, it's like everything goes through your shop at some point or another.
Yep, whether it's a quality inspection or whatever it is, it's coming through Ashland, Oregon before it gets out to the stores or retail or wherever.
And you guys employ how many people in Oregon?
A little over, I'd say we're at right about 100 is where we average.
That's a ton of people.
Yes.
It's like we employ 8 people at Knafs, 9 with a contractor.
Yeah.
To me, that's like, wow, that's a lot. 9, And I look at 100, I'm like, oh, that's a lot. But it's cool. I mean, you guys are in Cabela's. You're in Shields. You're in Knafs.com. You're basically like saturated as far as like anywhere you might need a knife sharpener.
Yep.
You guys are sitting there. It's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
So well done. You already answered this, but again, I don't understand like the hype around the sharpener, like the brand. It's really cool. I think you guys have spent years and years cultivating that and making it, and it's well deserved. But I'm like, you're not Benchmade, right? Like
no.
Like Benchmade is like mystique.
Yeah, that's cool. As they're beautiful knives, and sharpeners aren't necessarily.
No,
you try to make them cool looking, but it's a sharpener.
And I don't mean that to be insulting, but like sharpening is not inherently like
sexy
cool
or cool.
sexy.
Yeah.
Somehow you guys have said, yes, this is cool and this is sexy, and we are going to make it really interesting and accessible.
Yeah.
So well done there.
Thanks.
I think that's fantastic. Now, we have a little giveaway for you guys.
Yes.
What's coming from your side, Kyle?
We're giving you guys the Ken Onion Mark II Elite. So this is our new top-of-the-line electric sharpener.
Dude, pull the box.
Yeah,
Should we
check it out.
show the good people the box?
Yep. So it comes, typically if you just order the Ken Onion, you get the base sharpener with the triangle cassette, similar, you can see that, Jamie. Right here is that triangle cassette that typically comes on it. You get that, which is what most people are used to seeing, that form factor. But you also get the Elite to where you can sharpen freehand as well. So it's a complete package. It's a really robust system and
cool.
Makes it easy to sharpen.
We're giving it away.
For you.
We're giving that away as well. And this is fun too. This is a brand new knife from Knafs. This is the Tonto Lander 2 with the charcoal micarta.
That's beautiful.
So you will get this and this in your winnings. To sign up, there is a link down in the description. We do want your emails, obviously, to contact you, but then we also like to send you beautiful things.
Yeah, I'm on your guys' mailing list, and you don't bug.
We don't disappoint.
No, it's good stuff.
Twice a week, Mondays and Fridays. Yep. And Mondays are this weird, I don't know, we put whatever we want in there. I have a section called Ben Banters where it's just random thoughts that I just throw in there. So
I love it.
Anyway, that is what we'll do with your email. That is how you sign up. Rules, all of that good stuff down in the link in the description. We're coming up on Knafs News. Okay, so we've already talked about the Tonto Lander 2, but the thing you need to know is if you buy one now, it comes out today, you also get a poster. And check this out. We've had some fun. This is goofy fun.
That's awesome.
We stuck the Tonto on a limited edition Knafs poster, blackout edition. So a little charcoal right there. Mm-hmm. This will ship with one of these. So I think we only printed like 100 or some of these.
Oh, wow.
It's like done. So
that's it.
That will be part of, I think that'll run through till they're gone. So new knife, new poster, snag it now. Now, we've also had fun with you guys. What have we got going on? This is your Black Friday stuff.
This is our Black Friday deal going on. So with Black Friday, we've partnered up. These guys have helped us out and given a little more value over your Black Friday weekend. So if you order on our website, worksharptools.com, if you spend $100, you're going to get our new folding field sharpener. This is a fun little pocketable sharpener. It makes it super simple to maintain your edges and stays with you.
How do I sharpen with this thing?
So it's in true work sharp fashion. You've got your angle guides built in. So you just lay it on the angle guide, and if your edge is in need of like some diamond maintenance, you just make a pass on each side to touch it up.
Love it.
And then you've got your ceramic as well, also angle guided.
I love it.
Super simple. And so
I said I love it again, guys. It's part of my life.
Love it so much. And so that's what you get included when you spend $99 on the website. Then we get into the fun Knafs stuff. I'm excited about this one. This is your guys' Torx driver, but you guys put a sweet topo pattern on it. Man.
So you guys have done topo lines on a lot of your packaging for like a decade.
Yep.
And so we had mocked this up, and we were like, well, what if we sent this over?
Yep.
So I love it. It's super cool.
This Torx driver is awesome. If you guys haven't ever seen one, it's super fidgety. I've been spinning it and probably driving you crazy all.
No, it's good. So I got to spend how much to get that on your website?
You've got to spend $180 to get the Torx driver. And then we've got your Lander, your original Lander. It's got the little Work Sharp laser engraved logo on it as well. That one you have to spend $270 and you get the Lander for free. So $99, $180, and then $270.
And this is on worksharp.com.
Yep, worksharptools.com.
So you think about it, if you buy a Ken Onion sharpener, $300, you're getting a free Lander 1.
Yep.
With that exclusive pocket clip on it.
Exactly.
Which is super fun.
Yeah.
And that's like a little bit behind the scenes. Like that's half the reason you're here is they called us up and they're like, hey, we want to do something cool for the holidays.
Yep.
We were like, let's do this. And then you're like, well, let me come down and pitch it too. So I enjoy the collaboration side of what we're doing.
Same here. Very much.
I think it's fantastic. By the way, what knife was in your pocket there? I had questions.
That's your banter, buddy. And
that is the banter.
But I've got the cool scales.
The Wiimote banter.
Yep. The scales are what sold me on the knife itself, man. Like,
cool.
Once I saw the scales, I was like, I'm getting it just so I can have those scales.
So we were talking before the episode started. I think we made like 300 of these sets of scales. They've become a little bit of a collector's piece.
Yeah.
Because they'll never come back again. And they're gonzo. So people like them. And you actually, You had me sign this years ago.
I got one of the signed blades too. So
it's amazing.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to carry it. So
no, and that's one thing I've seen some people that put them in a box and don't carry them. I'm actually curious in the comments if you guys are like collectors where you keep your knives in boxes, or if you actually carry everything you own. I carry everything I own.
Same.
There's no Safe Queen at Ben's house.
Yep.
It's just like...
I had one, and I left it in my pocket, and it ended up going through the washing machine. It was my Malibu. And then I was like, well, I guess I'm using my Malibu now for everything.
Stonewashed Malibu.
Exactly.
Amazing. Are you a knife guy inherently, Kyle, or how'd you get into it?
I've always liked knives. I think any, young boy probably has a phase in their life where they like knives. And then started working at Work Sharp, got a little more into them. And then once it became my job to like learn sharpening and get into that side of it, I really turned into a nerd for it. So
did you sharpen knives at all before you worked at Work Sharp?
A little bit. I honestly wasn't that great at it. Once you started, I worked at a different company or a different division at Work Sharp that wasn't necessarily with the knife sharpeners. And so I kind of got good at it, but it wasn't until I fully moved over to Work Sharp that I got to where I was like, okay, I've got to get really good at sharpening at this point.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, guys. A couple other things. We're moving slow on this episode, but I'm having fun. So you guys can just keep watching. This will be great. Next up, we have, this just came out last week. Have you seen this one?
I have not.
This is a Lander 3 micarta.
Sweet.
Micarta. So we had a lot of fun with this one. It's got our moon dust finish on the blade and the handle. This one just came out. Highly enjoyable. I've been carrying the Lander 2 micarta.
It's the big boy.
The bigger boy, yep. But I sanded and oiled the scales.
I was going to say, that looks like there's some patina going on.
Yeah,
on it.
it's a forced patina.
Okay.
But at some point, I'm going to snag one of those off my own shelf.
Carry your own knife.
As I do. Actually, I carried one for about 2 days, and then I was at Georgia Bushcraft last week, and I gave it away. Oh. Somebody loved it, and you know what's funny? Like, I feel like Work Sharp has sent me so many sharpeners over the years. Like, just, hey, enjoy this, right? As a business owner, I have the hardest time with like, just here, have this.
Yeah.
It's good business, right?
Yeah.
Like you talk about word of mouth, like that's good word of mouth.
Yep.
But I'm like, oh wait.
Yep.
It's the hardest thing. So anyway, that one's coming out. We also just released the Lander 2 clip point. This one is your paper micarta, your brown paper micarta with that, what are we calling this? Almost the rancher finish. You got a satin with a stone wash on there, belt satin. And then we had a lot of fun with that paper micarta.
Those thumb sets are cool too.
Yeah, so it's definitely got styling from one of those famous old knives from a different company.
Yep.
But I love it because it's sort of this classic like 70s sort of vibe to the thing. So we've had a lot of fun with that. That's cool. So that's what's new from Knafs. Next up, we got the Moon Crew moment. All right, so before we started this episode, we jumped into the Moon Crew on Facebook. That is our Facebook group where our people converse, and we asked them to ask you questions. So this one comes from Lance. He says, I've been told by many people that pull-through sharpeners are really bad to use on pocket knives. Is this true?
Kind of.
That's a diplomatic answer. That's a very Switzerland answer.
For anyone watching that's not familiar with a pull-through, we're talking about like a carbide V. And so those carbides are just obviously harder than your steel, and if you pull it through there, that ends up, I call it just raking material off your knife. And so what you're left with is this edge that's sharp, but it's a rough edge, and it'll get the job done. So if you're someone that needs a knife sharp now, you're out and you've got a knife that you're not like super caring about, they work great. Run it through there like fillet knives on a boat. It's great. Shoot, got a sharp edge, you're back to working. But they are hard on the edge, and so if you do it enough times, it starts to. And if you look at the edge, you're like, "Oh, I'm like shearing metal off."
I have seen some really wicked microscopic pictures of edges after carbide sharpening, and you're like, "Wow."
Yeah,
like, crazy.
They hold a place. People love them, so we sell them. But
cool.
You can get a better edge using more traditional methods, I would say.
That was the next question. The follow up is, if so, why are you selling them? It's sort of it's a pinch. Like if you need a sharp knife, use this.
And there's people that like them. So like, why wouldn't you provide that to that person? We're not saying you have to sharpen a knife this way. It's just a way that people get a sharp knife. And we've made some improvements in that area too through our convexing. I think we do a little lighter job on an edge, but again, you'd probably want to be on one of these to get create an edge.
Of all the products, which one do you personally, are you like, because for me, this is the one that I'm like, this is the one I endorse.
Yep.
which is the one that you're like, don't use a pull-through sharpener, use this?
I think for me, I always recommend the Precision Adjust. I call it the family now because this is a pretty expensive sharpener.
This is the Precision Adjust Pro, right?
Pro, yeah. So that's like a $250 sharpener. So if someone's getting into sharpening, it's hard to be like, go buy this. It's the one but this is like a $70 sharpener here. And it's just, it takes a lot of the guesswork out of how to sharpen a knife, but you still feel like when you're done sharpening, I did that. That's what I think I love about a rod and clamp system is like, you get it all set up, it holds the angle perfectly for you, you rotate, you do the other side. So all the guesswork's gone. All you have to do is make sure you're getting a good edge, and the results are ones that you take pride in at that point too. Like I did that, I put that edge on there, and it gets really sharp. So yeah.
Well, it's interesting too. This is my personal garage work sharpener, belt sharpener. You can really wreck a knife fast on this thing.
Yeah, if you're not careful.
I have wrecked knives on this.
Okay.
I have a couple knives that I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But this, when I received one of these, I realized, okay, there's finesse and art to this thing. Whereas this, I'm just like, which is fun, entertaining, like throw some sparks. In fact, I love sharpening axes on this thing because I feel like some sort of blacksmith.
Carbon's just
It's great. But this is more like, we're going to get into the weeds of sharpening. We're going to do it methodically.
Yeah, and it's almost like there's guardrails there to keep you from doing anything too wrong. So like your knife's held in place, the angle's set there for you, and all you have to do is sit there and look and just watch yourself sharpen that edge and watch that edge develop. And eventually you find yourself kind of nerding out on it almost, of just like developing this keen, polished edge on a knife.
Does it throw sparks?
There's not. I mean, maybe if you went fast enough. I mean, there's probably somebody out there that's like, I get sparks.
I love it. This is from Harrison. I don't have a question, but I want to say hello to
Harrison.
Kyle because he's a dear friend. Miss him and the rest of the Workshop crew. Hi, Harrison.
Hi, Harrison.
This comes from Elon. Please tell them that the Workshop folding field sharpener needs a strop too.
Okay.
So that's that little guy, right?
Yep.
And this has a pocket clip on it, right? Like
yeah, so it's pocketable. It's got the pocket clip, folds out. But I've heard that before, where somebody doesn't necessarily want the diamond; they want like a ceramic and a leather, just for like keeping it keen edge.
Yeah.
Okay. Feedback heard. I'll take that home.
I like it. Which is preferred in the work sharp world? Less edge retention, but easy to razor sharp. Talking about steel types here, or super steel that is hard to sharpen but stays razor sharp.
This is a debate even amongst ourselves. So Dan's one of our main engineers. He's got his fingerprints on everything you see here. He swears by, you give me like a cheap steel and a decent sharpener and I'll outcut you all day long with your super steel sharp edge, because it takes longer to take that super steel back to get sharp again, whereas he can have an edge back on a softer steel really quickly. And so it just depends on use, but that's kind of what it boils down to, is like, if we're going for a bunch of cuts, the softer steel is going to be easier to maintain as you go. But the super steel, like let's say there was a cutoff at some point, might last longer than, having to retouch up a softer steeled edge.
Interesting. So one thing I've seen out in the internet blogosphere is I can't get an edge back on this steel. Is that true?
It's just patience.
Is it patient? Is it the archer or the arrow?
Probably a little bit of both, to be honest. But
so like an 8CR13 MOV steel. I've heard this about 8CR.
Yeah.
Is that it lost its edge? I can't get it to keep an edge. Is that the sharpener or is that the steel?
I would say that's the steel. Laren's talked about this before. Laren Thomas, Knife Steel Nerds, talks about, if you want to get the most out of your knife, don't change steel, change how you sharpen your knife. And so you want to just go to a more obtuse angle. So if you're not able to maintain your edge, you're too steep of a point. So let's say you're at 20 degrees, try sharpening out to 25 degrees. That's just going to put more material behind the edge. So if you're not able to maintain an edge, go to a more obtuse angle, and you'll see a lot of results from that.
Interesting. That's cool.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I'm learning all the time. Okay, will we ever see an extension kit for the professional precision adjust with finer grits, 1,000 and up?
Soon.
Ooh.
Little tease there.
I like it. Are there optimal angles for different blade materials, or are they all about the same?
The optimal, say that again.
Optimal angles for different blade materials. So like S35, should I be at 17 degrees or 20, right?
Yeah, so that's another one where it's a mixed bag, because I could tell you S35 always at 20 degrees is going to be perfect, but it depends on what the knife is, what the knife's being used for, and then also like how that knife was heat treated from that company. That can also impact like how well that's going to perform on my end, telling you 20 degrees is going to do great for S35. So
Cool.
wish I could give you a better answer. It's just more convoluted than that, just like knife steel.
This comes from Jay Scott from left field. Is he willing to go back to the Ship Shape Sharpening Shop and go mano a mano with Keith?
Let's do it.
Let's go. Off to the Ship Shape Sharpening Shop.
Let's do this.
Welcome to the Ship Shape Sharpening Shop, where we have an excellent matchup today. We've got Keith on the 2x72 Beaumont grinder. We've got Kyle on the Worksharp Mark II. We've got a great fight for you today. I've ceremoniously doled these knives on the curb. Oh, yeah. And the lowest score on the Katra tester wins. Gentlemen, let's get ready to sharpen!
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through every belt we got. I've got the 120. I'm going to go through every single belt progression, X22, X4, all the way through to their finest belt. I've got this set up for like a flat grind, so that's where I can control my convex. Flat grind, and I'm going to go really steep on the angle. Not too crazy, like 17 is kind of what I'm thinking. So we'll see. That might bite me. Maybe should have gone steeper, but we'll see what's going on over here with Keith.
Okay, we're going 220. And we're going to go to 400, and then we're going to strop. I'm going to try to get this at about a 16-degree angle. See how it goes. I'm going to win this. Come on now.
I've never gone directly against a 2x72 before, so. I'm intimidated a bit, but I think we'll be okay.
Ooh, we're on a strop over here.
Yeah.
You're falling behind in this very timed competition.
I worked up a little sweat there. Oh no, that's coming right off. We are going to cut this filament on this edge on up tester, and the lower the score, the better. So lay it on here, and the trick is to go nice and light on the little wire. Don't plunge through it. 173. 225.
Going downhill.
207.
207.
Ah, the first
You're
one was
gonna
so
be in
good.
the 200s.
Ah,
You're gonna be in the 200s.
No.
Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
All right, Keith.
Okay, that's fair.
Make Knafs proud.
Oh. I'm gonna need some big numbers next, Keith. I'm gonna need some big numbers.
26.
I need some big numbers the next two, please.
Okay, let's see what we can do.
Jump. Go.
Oh,
it's over.
Oh, you can get like a 500.
I have
still.
to
You
be
can
like,
get a 500.
yeah. Use
143.
the sharpening twirler or something on that, please.
136.
Oh.
No.
Fatality.
Nice work, man.
Hey, man.
And there you have it, guys. A wonderful fight. The final numbers here on the average of 3 cuts on the Katra test. We've got Keith at 135 and Kyle at 201. Keith is our winner!
Nice work,
job,
man.
man.
Nice work, man.
Thanks, man.
You earned it.
Back to the desk. Kyle, what happened back there, man? What's
I don't know, man. Things got away from. I think I underestimated Keith more than anything else. The guy came out swinging.
Okay, so little side story about Keith. Keith works at Knafs. He's our knife sharpener as well as works the storefront. When we were checking references on Keith to hire him, I called his boss. He used to be a welder, and his boss was like, "I haven't had anybody weld like Keith. Like nobody does. I can't remember what kind of welding. Nobody does it like Keith." I was like, "Man, this guy's got hand-eye coordination." So, I mean, you win against the best in the game. So think about it.
I want a rematch. If I come back down, I want a rematch.
I love it. Okay, so product spotlight. This is where we pull a product from our inventory and we talk about the design inspiration and things like that. So I'm gonna move this over to there. This is our docking station. Now, the funny thing about this, there's a story behind this. So we came out with a strop, I don't know, probably 4 years ago now. I wanted a basic strop, basic compound, and it's been a great product. So we came out with that like 4 years ago. And then in the past year, I was like, well, we have these loaded tool burritos. So we have our burrito product that I wanted a sharpening stone in there.
Yep.
So we came out with just a 600 and 400 grit sharpening stone.
Okay.
Super simple Knafs product. Well, then somebody around the office was like, well, look at this thing. Have you considered this? And I'm like, no, we don't do that. But then we did it. And so we came out with what we call a docking station based on your field sharpener.
Sure.
You guys did it so much better than we did.
Thank you.
But it's interesting because I think every knife company ends up thinking about sharpening at some point.
Yes.
Which is funny because if you look at the number of knife sharpening companies to knife companies, it's probably 10 to 1.
Yeah, I would say.
Maybe more, maybe 20, 30 to 1.
Sure.
But we all will dabble in it for a second and be like, no, this isn't our bag. And then but for us, we do a lot of 3D printing. And so this is a free download on our site.
Oh, cool.
That people can go in, and if you're stropping, you can just slide your strop in there. I think it slides in on one side here. You slide that guy right in there.
Nice.
And then you can slide your...
Whichever stone you're using.
Yep, whichever stone, you just slide that guy right in. It goes in one side, though. You have to get the right side.
I love the angle guides, though.
And we absolutely looked at yours and we're like, this is cool. But I think the thing about Worksharp I really like is you guys are inherently a sharpening company.
Yeah.
I look at what we've done at Knafs, I'm like, this is fun. It's cute. Cute. I'm saying what's going in your head, like, cute. Ben.
I think it's great, man. All I'm thinking is, like, I want to make you a better one. So
see, but I think that is the beauty of Worksharp, is you guys are looking at sharpening. I'm like, we're done with sharpening.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I wanted. That's what we got. Sweet. You guys you're thinking, oh, I want to make you a better one.
Yep.
That's not what my brain's doing. My brain's over here like, let's make a new knife. I love the fact that Worksharp has really done a great job in providing that sharpening service at home, right? Like, I think it's super cool. So anyway, that is the docking station as well as our strap and sharpening stone. I'm just going to highly recommend this one.
Okay.
But if you're like, hey, I want to 3D print and have some fun myself,
yes,
try that out.
Absolutely.
So, all right, we are on to Mailbox. So this is a model train. There's a guy on Instagram called Knife Train 311. He sent us this this knife train.
This is awesome.
He had put these stickers on it, and we put the Band-Aids on it.
Okay, the Band-Aids.
Because we're gonna just choo this way over to you. This is headed to Oregon.
Yes.
This is your gift.
Awesome.
So Chris says you could put it up on display or just roll it around on the floor and go woo woo. Try it. Try it.
Woo woo.
Yes.
Woo woo. I love it.
So I don't know what to do with that. I was like, this is a great gift.
This is going on our set.
So
as soon as I get
that was
home,
my hope.
That's where that's going. That is awesome.
Thank
you, Chris.
We love this. We don't mean to re-gift, but it just felt right. Like,
I love it.
Who better to woo woo than Worksharp?
Yes.
The woo woo Worksharp
I'm
train.
so happy to woo woo.
That's amazing. Okay, next up on the list today. You may have to sit still with that for 10 more minutes here.
Stop wooing.
Okay, this is super cool. This is from a local customer named Scott, and he actually sent us the entire story on this thing. But this was his grandfather's knife.
Wow.
It came in for sharpening, and he's getting ready to hand it off to his grandson. So it's like 6th generation or something.
No way. Wow.
His grandfather made it in like the 30s. Out of just whatever he had. So he put his initials in there, RHH. I believe his name was Robert Horst Hoffman.
Wow.
So he stuck those in the handle, made everything by hand. Look at those serrations.
I was going to say the straight back.
Give it a try. See how it fits in your hand.
Oh yeah.
There is a piece of that deer antler that just like
sticks right in the. I was like, maybe they were left-handed because it's a little better over here. But
it's one of those things that you're like, okay, who designed this? Why did they design it like this? And then the sheath is a piece of sheet metal with, it's like wrapped in leather, painted red leather.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
This is like part of the reason I love sharpening in our shop.
Dude, what comes through the door?
What comes through the door, you're like, what is that? And I just love it. So this is, probably should have been a ship-shape sharpening shop, but today was a little bit more intense than the Elkhorn. But I love seeing the history behind knives too. Like this is Scott's grandfather. It's going to his family.
Yes.
The grandfather made some for the uncles. And it's fascinating here too. He plated it. It's like
really,
yeah. It appears to be a copper base with a nickel plating on top of it, so you can see the chipping.
The nickel's coming off a little bit. But
it's like this chromed out like piece of copper.
So cool.
Super cool. And then it just slides right into that. So knives are fun, man.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought? I don't know that I ever got into this industry thinking like, yeah, this is where I want to be. But you get into it and it's like, wow, this is a fascinating place to be.
Yep.
Other fascinating things. You guys import things. We import things. We got this new knife. It came in a Knafs Lander 2 box with a shipment of Lander 2s. This is a Kansept knife. So somewhere in customs, our friends at Kansept and Kaiser got a knife mixed up into the mix. So this is actually my friend Paul Munko's knife. It's called the Cosmos. So like we're doing QC on all of these Lander 2s, and we open up a box, and that knife is just sitting in the box, and we're like,
No way.
what in the world? So kind of fun.
That's awesome.
The world is a strange, weird place. We think it happened in customs, for the record, because it was basically an opened box, and it came in, and we're like, what is going on here? So
That's crazy.
anyway, kind of fun.
Yeah.
Beautiful design. It's maybe a little futuristic for my personal taste, but I love weird stuff like that.
Smooth,
that just
too.
happens. So we didn't get a Lander 2. We got a Kansept Cosmos. Go figure. All right, we are on to the edge of intelligence. Okay, Kyle, you've watched a couple episodes of the show. The way this works is Jamie has put something in this envelope. We get to read it and do it.
Okay.
And go ahead.
I get the honors.
You get the honors today.
All right.
With the Wiimote.
The Wiimote.
The Wii Banter Mote.
Stand back. All right, what do we got?
Hang on, stop for just a second. Can we just comment on how this is the first time nobody's cut the edge of intelligence in half as we open the envelope?
Really?
Well done, Kyle.
Nailed it?
Nailed it, yes. Here's the prompt. The prompt is, generate me an image of what a work sharpened Knafs collaboration knife sharpener would look like.
Oh, rad.
Wait, work shafts? That's amazing.
shafts?
Did you see that?
That's not...
Look at the name. It's the work shafts.
I love it.
I don't know what it does. It looks like a toaster. I would buy this toaster.
I would too.
What does it do?
There's something going there? There's a third step here. It looks like, and I don't know what that.
Well, I think you have to turn it on here.
Yep.
And then you stick the knife in here.
Okay.
It cooks the toast on this side and sharpens the knife on that side. So when you're done, you can butter the toast. Where did it get like the? It almost looks like Alaskan styling. Like
Yeah,
this
that's what I was
native
curious too. I
styling.
don't think they're pulling that from our end. That's for sure.
That's amazing. I love the edge of intelligence. All right, next up we've got Fresh Prince. So I heard a rumor that you used to work at a coffee company.
I did.
Is this true? Where did you used to work?
I was a Dutch Bros guy.
Is this a Dutch Bros 3D printed coffee mug?
What in the world? I mean, kind of.
Kind of.
It has the look.
It has the look. I don't think the lid goes on back.
Okay.
on
All
very well.
right.
So we
the
made,
lid is spot on, almost. Like, I love it.
So how long did you work at Dutch Bros?
I was there for 13 years.
Really?
Yeah. I started out just a job while I was going to college, doing nights and stuff like that, and then got a manager job, and then I was regional for a while there too. So
you were like I know they don't call them baristas, but you were a
broista is what they like to call it.
broista.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. Dutch Bros,
So don't put coffee in this because it will definitely boil over.
I love it. Thank you.
But Jamie was like, we gotta get him a Dutch Bros cup.
That's awesome.
So cool. Kyle, where can the good people find you on the internet?
On the internet, worksharptools.com is where you can go to our website.
Do you own worksharp.com?
No, just Workshop
You
Tools.
don't? Okay, so let's correct something previously in the show.
Yep.
I said worksharp.com.
I think I got it right after you though with the Workshop Tools.
Worksharp Tools. So
Yep.
worksharptools.com,
Yep.
and then what else?
Follow us on Instagram at Workshop Tools as well. TikTok. We're pretty much on all
you have
socials.
you have a YouTube show as well.
Yeah, so on
called The
YouTube
Workshop.
called The Workshop. You can go there to learn about our products, learn how to sharpen knives. We do a lot of basics on how to get started using our products. If you watch that, you should be able to use any of our sharpeners. You got to put up with more of me though, so I don't know if it's.
Okay, here's what I want you to do in the comments, guys, in the last few minutes here. I want you to put all of your sharpening questions in the comments.
Nice.
And Kyle, if you feel so inclined in a future episode, go pull those comments.
Okay.
And throw them in a future video.
We'll
because I know that you guys have a lot of sharpening questions. We get them in our info inbox
Yes.
all the time.
Please do.
So throw them in the comments, and Kyle, that can be your playground.
I love it. I'm in.
Guys, thanks for watching. We put out videos every week, so subscribe. Definitely go check out worksharptools.com. Kyle, what a pleasure.
It was
Thank
fun,
you.
man. Thanks, Ben.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for watching, guys.
See you guys.